Welcome to Touched and Empowered, a show created to empower individuals to value their lives by hosting think tank discussions that will inspire positive action. Touched and Empowered with Katie and Ace starts now.
Welcome to this episode of Touched and Empowered. I am here with Ace, and I'm Katie because I forgot to introduce myself.
Hi, Katie.
I just realized, I was like, I'm here, but you might not know who I am, so I might as well say who I am.
And ladies and gentlemen, Katie is, please say your title, because a lot of people thought you were something else on my Instagram. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
They thought I was something else? Do I want to know what they thought I was?
We can talk about that in a second. After you share your title at the Teen Suicide Prevention Society, please.
Well, I am the assistant director of the Teen Suicide Prevention Society. I'm also a certified mindset reset coach.
Yes, Katie is an awesome possumly awesome possum.
Awesome possum. I'm a gypsy of all trades. I do a little bit of everything.
Pretty much. Yeah. Why do you think I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody thought you were my assistant? I'm like, no. Absolutely
well,
not.
It depends. How many times do you text message me and like, can you help me figure this out?
That doesn't mean you're my assistant.
True, but you do that sometimes, yes.
I do, because I need help. Who has the power on that one?
We both do. Because it takes power to offer help and it takes power to ask for help.
Wise.
I'm glad you think so.
Very good. And also, folks, if you're watching on Instagram or if you're watching on YouTube, this is the background of my flight back to LA.
Yes, from our holiday weekend.
I thought it was very majestic. It was actually pretty majestic. I was tripped out. Like, I just saw darkness out of nowhere from New Jersey, and I was like, wow, that took 10 minutes. Went from sunset to dark. I was like, what is this? And then I go up, and then I'm like, oh, this is what the Matrix felt like in the third movie.
Yeah. It does have that kind of shift to it sometimes, especially when you're flying during the shift of either dusk to dawn or from daytime to nighttime.
Absolutely.
It's completely different once you get above the clouds.
Oh, yeah. It was beautiful. As you can tell, it was beautiful. I was like, is that the moon?
Yes, that's the moon.
Wow.
Didn't even realize you were taking a photo of the moon. That's funny.
Thank you. Yes. Sorry for the tangent, but I wanted to add some background to background. Speaking
of which, before we started recording today, I had mentioned that tomorrow is Mommy Sunday. Austin and I are going to hang out, and he's getting his Christmas gift early. Don't know when this episode is going to air, but whatever. I am taking him to go get a tattoo, and then we are either going to go to dinner or we're going to go see Wicked. I don't know which one it's going to be yet.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it was funny because I told Katie, I'm like, I remember when my mom took me to get my tattoo. and then I thought about it, and I'm like, that's a normal occurrence now, is it?
Well, I don't know. It depends. I mean, I only have, as funny as this sounds, I only have 2 tattoos. And one I went with my husband because we both got tattoos at that time. The second tattoo I went, and my sister Stephanie went with me, and she had one of her tattoos touched up at that time.
Ooh.
And it's really funny because I have 2. My sister Stephanie, I want to say, has 8+, and my sister Jamie has like 12+.
Wow.
Probably more like 20+. I don't know for sure. I can't keep track. Even Austin has more tattoos than I do at this point, and I'm going to be getting him another one for Christmas. I'm paying for it, so it's like, okay, whatever.
Okay, Mom. Wow.
Everyone can have more ink than me. I still have to decide what I want to get next.
That's lovely. See, okay, this is where the similarity isn't as similar, I guess. My sisters and I have 3 sisters and parents. I'm the only one with ink on me.
It all depends on what is considered quote unquote normal.
It was not normal. You know what I did? I knew I always wanted a tattoo. And because I knew my mom would have been like, Like, don't put that on your body.
Enter growl.
Enter growl. Don't put that on your body, type of thing, because it's a mom who produced you, so like anything on your body is a little weird to her. And then my sister, I'd be the first person to get a tattoo in my family, and the way I did it was, "Hey, mom, I'm gonna get a tattoo. Can you come with me?"
Oh.
Yes, you can
Play the
watch it.
mom will you hold my hand card.
Yes, you get to sit there, watch all the needles, make sure they're clean, because that was like the nervousness of it all.
Right.
Honestly, I love my mom. I had to get it covered up right afterwards anyway, so it was fine.
It's interesting because like I remember growing up, and it was primarily my stepdad. He's like, no tattoos, no tattoos, no tattoos. But my biological dad and his side of the family, everyone's got a tattoo. So I had conflicting, yes, we do, no, we don't. Yes, we do, no, we don't. So it finally got to, God, what was I? I think I was 21 when I got my first tattoo. I was like, that's it. My body, I get to choose. I'm going to do it.
Nice.
So the funny thing is that Brian said that it's funny. He said I couldn't do it unless he got one too. So I had to pay for my tattoo and his, but that's beside the point.
I wish people watched more on YouTube, because my facial response to that was,
I'm sure he will say that it's his idea if anyone ever asks him, but whatever. We're talking we're talking over 20 years ago. So I'm not worried about it.
For anyone watching, my next tattoo, leave me a comment. I want to see. I'll ink the right idea on my body.
Right idea. See, because that's where I am now. I want to get another one because each one the two that I have both symbolize a point of time in my life that was very significant. The one I got when I was 21 was pretty much me declaring my independence as an adult, which is kind of funny because I was married and not really independent. But the second one I got is a dragon on my shoulder blade because I always wanted to have something watching my back. And I got that the year that Austin was, or right after Austin was born.
That's brilliant. Wow.
Because I'm like, I gotta watch his back. Someone's gotta watch my back. So I got a dragon on my shoulder blade to watch over my back. But now it's like, okay, I want to do something else. We're at a new chapter of our lives.
Yeah.
There's been so much shifting going on.
Oh my heaven.
So trying to determine what is the best one to get, because I don't want it to be an impulse. I want it to be planned.
That's great. Well,
every single one of Austin's tattoos, I mean, one of them I think was impulse, but it fits in with the theme of everything else. So it works out perfectly fine. But all of his, I think, have been planned.
Mine have pretty much been planned. Did they go wrong? One of them did, but but they were pretty much planned. Impulse. We should talk about that in a second. But
okay.
I was thinking about it. Remember, so the Talk That Saves Lives, Katie has, both of us have actually done a tutorial on the Talk That Saves Lives. This is an incredible intellectual property from the Teen Suicide Prevention Society. And that created a way that you could instill basically a safety net in someone's mind if they're at risk, with dialogue, utilizing a neural pathway.
As midnight jumps in front of you and takes over the screen, making you disappear in the virtual background.
Of course,
Hello,
with midnight. Hello, Midnight. Of course, with one of the most important things to share during our podcast. We'll actually put a link probably to the GoFundMe, right? It has that video.
I'm trying to remember if I don't have the link for the GoFundMe, then I have the link where they can download the talk for free.
Oh, perfect. So there's a specific line that talks about why stay.
Yep. What
is
are your reasons?
is that mine is this dog that I love so much that's chewing on my arm. Um, right now, one of the
Yep.
reasons. So could you articulate the question, please, Katie?
Well, it's the total of 4 questions. And the final question is the one that, for lack of a better term, flips. It flips the switch in your brain from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. Because the question is, what are your reasons for staying? Why stay? And our brain is basically a search engine. And whenever we ask it a question, it digs through all of the files on our brain and pulls up whatever we planted in our brain at whatever point in time as to why. And one of the things that I found, for me in particular, which my mom laughs at this story, because when we first created the talk, I was the guinea pig. I was the one that answered the questions for the first time to see whether or not it would work. And me being my sarcastic self asked me why, when she asked why stay, my answer was because I hadn't seen a unicorn yet. Now, fast forward, I got to a point in time where things in my life to me seemed really, really, really bad. And there was no plan, but there were thoughts about what would life be like if I was not here.
Mm.
And lo and behold, this little voice in the back of my brain said, "You can't go yet. You haven't seen a unicorn."
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing, even with tears running down my face because I was so upset, I was so depressed, I was in such a dark place. Hearing this little voice in the back of my head saying, "You haven't seen a unicorn yet," I just started busting out laughing.
Mm.
Because one, the talk works.
Mm.
And 2, it made me realize that there are tons of reasons for me to stay. Everything from not seeing a unicorn to the fact that I have a son who's about to graduate college in a year and a half. I want to see him graduate college. I want to see him get married. I want to see him have 30 million fur babies. And maybe real babies if he decides to, but fur babies are fine too. There's so many things that I still wanted to do. And at that point in time, I still wanted to travel internationally. Since that point, I've been to Fiji and I've been to Egypt. So it helped give me the motivation to reinforce my life with the things that I really want.
I'm so sorry. My dog has.
That's okay.
My
Midnight's playing with you.
No, she actually, yeah, she is playing with me, but she bit part of my sleeve. So unless I want to take off my shirt as you're talking about this really serious moment, I apologize. Then
it's okay. But that's the thing. It's finding the joy.
Yep.
And your dog just being a goof just adds to the joy of the world.
Oh, there goes my shirt.
There goes your shirt. It's a good thing we can't see you with the virtual background.
Hence, I promise we are totally authenticity, right? Authenticity was our motto here. Oh my goodness gracious, baby chocolate.
Being authentic is one of our pillars.
Yes. So yes, I was actually thinking about tattooing those 2 lines on my body somewhere.
Well, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean, like, shoot, if I'm not having the dialogue, you're going to read it.
That's true. But if you're going to do that, you want to put your tattoo somewhere where everyone could see it.
Oh, heck yeah. It's just not going to be on my forehead. It'll probably be like, it'll probably be, because there's a few areas that I was thinking about doing a tattoo. And I saw this, I was playing, we saw this. I saw, I took a temporary tattoo, right? And then I put it around my wrist because I thought it would look really cool. And I saw the placement of it. So I was thinking about doing it around here.
I think I remember when you had that on, it was like cherry blossoms or something.
Exactly. Except we're gonna do typography with maybe some vines.
Well, that would be interesting.
Right.
And I really do think that it is a really good way to express yourself. That being said, all of my tattoos are easily hidden underneath my clothes because when I got them, I was working corporate jobs and tattoos were not allowed to be exposed.
And same here. I was working a corporate job, so I got it on my ribs.
So, hey, that's an easy place to hide because you're not going to be wearing a midriff shirt in the office, you know,
Yes.
which
Easy
is why
place.
I have mine on the upper arm and I have it on my shoulder blade. No one's going to
Gotcha.
see them with what it was with the style of clothing that was required for the office.
Easy place to hide. I don't think it's the easiest place to get, but
No, that's true. That's true. Because that's one of the reasons why I got the dragon on my shoulder blade. I was like, oh, that'd be really easy to hide until I realized that they were tattooing straight on bone. And I was like, oh, that is kind of painful, but whatever. It's worth it.
And to be fair, so I was actually expressing how if you've ever watched the movie Princess Bride, they
Yes.
actually ask this question. We'll share the clip in a YouTube video somewhere in the comments. So
Well,
they ask,
we could talk about the scene anyways. It's the scene with Mad Max.
yeah, he comes in, he yells at the man in black, and he's like, "Hey, why stay? What is like what's worth living for?" And
Mhm.
the you know the
Wesley.
man in black, Wesley, breathes out.
No to Blave.
Either way, like that'll make you laugh,
No,
right?
it really was true. Yeah, it does make you laugh, but it was true love, is what he was saying.
And for me, that actually kicked in.
I can say yes and no on that. And the only reason is because everyone has a different definition of true love.
This is true. 9-year-old me only had that. Oh, 9-year-old, 6-year-old me kind of didn't really know any of the definitions. It just heard that, right?
Makes sense.
And from there, it actually kicked in. So when I heard about this IP that the Teen Suicide Prevention Society had, I went, that worked for me. It'll if there's more data on how it's working for others, oh my goodness, we could save an entire nation. So, with that in mind, yeah, that's probably going to be my next tattoo.
I think that that's a wonderful idea. And I think that, again, anyone can put in whatever comments they want. I'm probably not going to be getting mine for at least my next tattoo for at least another year. But it is something that if anyone's thinking about it, you want to put thought into it. Flash tattoos are great for giving you ideas, but you don't have to pick what's on the wall. You can pick something and be like, okay, I want something similar to this, but I want to change A, B, C, D, E, and then go from there.
Yeah. Or get a cover up.
Or you can get a cover up later on.
Cover up as soon as you can. To where you feel satisfied. I actually feel very satisfied whenever I wear it anywhere because when people see it, they're like, kind of mesmerized by it, and then
Right.
it actually feels kind of empowering because I actually love it. Right, puppy?
As midnight disappears on and off of the screen.
Yes, perfect.
But there are other things that, for somebody who doesn't want to do tattoos, there are other things that you can do that's just as empowering. And it could be as simple as having a custom made necklace or bracelet or piece of jewelry or a piece of clothing.
I also found that it's actually really beautiful to see how people express themselves in an empowering way. I honestly believe that creativity is how we can take the power back.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Midnight agrees. Thank you.
And Midnight agrees. Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the most empowering people I've seen are artists. whether they are a drawing artist or a musician artist and are creating their own compositions. It's very
Very much
healing.
so. Absolutely. And if anybody has been wondering, I have been posting things on my Instagram story, graphics per se, that Katie endorsed at one point. I was like, look at what I'm creating.
And you disappear again.
I disappear because I have to bring my dog outside. But essentially, it was one of my favorite things to do, because it was my way of expressing the times that I felt powerless. And through the quotes and the poetry that are, I guess, engraved to the graphics,
Right.
that was my way of expressing how I took my power back in those moments that I felt powerless. So with that in mind, that is one of the best ways for me to creatively bring myself back to center, to remember who I am, and also with the love of the art.
And I think that it's also very empowering for people to know that there's so many people who share their stories on social media, but there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to
you don't want to trauma dump on people.
You don't want to trauma dump. No, you also don't want to there's a word for it. When sometimes people just bring out their everything to seek attention. There is a very big difference between the purpose of grabbing attention,
right,
to putting things out there for people who may need them. A little bit different. If you're utilizing your gifts, your presence as a way to help others feel empowered too, through what you do and what you have, that you are willing to give to the public, that's a different story.
True. And there are ways that you can do that where if you do have something tragic that you want to share to let somebody know that they can overcome it, there are ways to do it, maybe not a video post, but maybe just doing a poem post.
Yeah, there are many different ways to do it that are meant for inspiration. For instance, Motivational Speaking by Les Brown, he shares all of his adversities.
Mm-hmm.
I know that at the Buddhism that I practice, a lot of people share their experiences to encourage others to say that you can do this too. Just keep going, right?
Right.
And of course, keep chanting. That's kind of more of the Buddhism part of it all. But with what I've seen, sometimes it could be misconstrued depending on where your intent lies.
And I think intent is one of the more important things on it, because our intention needs to be twofold. It's the intent that we want to, whatever it is that we want to share, but also what we intend to get out of it in return.
Yeah. For instance, what is our intent for this podcast, Katie?
I have no clue other than the fact that we're sharing stories about tattoos and the mission for the Teen Suicide Prevention Society. But I know every time that we record something, we are being our authentic selves. We are being genuine. We're not hiding anything. I mean, heaven knows all of our flaws are all over all of these podcasts. But we're not pointing them out, except for when we're showing how we've improved. We're not playing victim cards. We're showing how we've been victorious over our challenges. So that is where our intent comes in, I believe, is showing what we have been able to do and hopefully inspire somebody else to continue that next step forward. Because sometimes the step forward is really hard.
Yeah, it's true. And it's funny that, I'm sorry, I threw you on the spot, Katie. I didn't mean to.
You do it all the time. It's fine.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's not far off. I remember when we first started this podcast, we had a mission statement, we had everything. pretty much laid out, and a lot of it had to do with creating content that helps save lives, right?
Yes.
Not with a savior complex, but for the understanding of, with the Teen Suicide Prevention Society and their mission aligned with that, there's a lot of mental health strife and challenges that people go through. And these bits of wisdom that we share on this podcast, you can take it, pull it with you whenever you need it for the times that it's hard, right? And that was a big thing for me, because that was how I started even my Instagram posts in the beginning. Things fluctuated and changed, but understanding, honing into that mission with this podcast and raising funding for those efforts, along with creating content that really aligns with who we are, that was so intrinsic upon us, creating, recording, sharing what we do. Even Nicole, gratefully on board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. We all came together to help, to push this mission forward. And that was something that was really important to me. And that's my intent, even though I might go crazy, be funny, quirky, strange, whatever it is, that's my way of expressing it.
There are times that we don't say anything about the fact that we support the Teen Suicide Prevention Society in our podcast. And it's because it's not that we don't want to focus on it. It's that there's so many other things in the world that we can share that helps boost the overall positivity level of the planet, which supports the mission anyways.
Exactly. It's all aligned. It's all intrinsic.
It's all aligned and all intrinsic, even when we do things completely off topic and taboo.
And Nicole is like, where'd you go?
Yeah, we've gotten a couple messages from Nicole in reference to, I wasn't quite sure where you were going with this. I hope this is okay. But you know what? It's fine. Because it's not worth the stress and the struggle to try and be 100% perfect 100% of the time. It's not possible.
It's so painful too. Depending on what you think is perfect, right? But
true, depending on what you think is perfect.
Yeah, for us, it's kind of just be yourself, right? You want to be yourself. You want to find a safe place where you can be yourself. And we want to provide that type of exemplary conversation, because Katie and I, our conversations are, if anything, they're filled with flaws. They're filled with challenges. They're filled with mistakes. But at the same time, we still figure out a way to just genuinely express ourselves and own it, because we know that's just life, yo.
Yeah, it is. And realizing that there are certain quirks, like, for example, I keep saying "and" at the beginning of my sentence. It's one of those things that I've learned, because adding information to somebody's statement is more positive when you use "and" instead of the word "but."
That, and I also agree with Katie. It's also, if you ever think about, there's actually uniting dialogue. So whenever you utilize certain prefaces to somebody else's statement, instead of accidentally causing friction through dialogue, you can say words like, "and this, to your point, I agree. With what you said, I also feel this way," right? Those tiny phrases actually help with a more harmonious conversation. Fun fact.
They do, because it makes the other person feel heard and then opens them up to hear you when you speak.
Exactly. And a good portion of the time, you emulate what you hear and what you find that resonates. So as Katie and I use our "and this" with her point, as Katie says this, as we build off of each other in these conversations, let us know if it actually happens as you're sharing or speaking with other people in your own daily lives. I'd love to hear that, if what we're doing is causing that much of an impact.
And if it doesn't work either, let us know that too, because we are always learning and evolving and gaining knowledge to help not only ourselves, but to help the people that we work with, to help our friends, to help our family, to help the mission.
Yep. Yeah, and I'd appreciate if it's a respectful, constructive criticism or constructive feedback, please, because I've seen some of the crazy comments people put on these, not ours, thankfully, but on a bunch of different posts and anywhere else. And sometimes it's constructive, sometimes it's gnarly. Um,
Very true. One of the things that I have found is one of my mentors mentioned there's a time and a place for everything. Praise is always done in public. Refinement and critiques is done in private.
I admire that.
It's tough to do. It is really difficult to do because normally, I will say this in my past, if I hear someone say something that is incorrect, my first response, my first reaction is to correct them. But if I'm in a supportive role in supporting this person, I don't want to undermine them because I'm correcting them in front of whoever it is that they're speaking to. So it'll be a later phone call when it's like, hey, when you said this, it's not quite complete. You want to finish it with this. Or you did great with this, and you can be a little bit more clear when you say that.
See, that's interesting. And I agree with you in regards to making sure that certain conversations are had behind the scenes. Right.
Right. There's a time and a place for everything, though.
There is. And I become more controlled. So for instance, if somebody came at me on a public platform or on a public stage or whatnot, I've learned how to change it or change the dynamic in the conversation. Let's say somebody offensively came at me
Right.
in front of a bunch of people. I'm actually incredibly good at diffusing or de-escalating.
De-escalating.
I don't know where it came from. It's just something that I've noticed I've been able to do in many situations, especially in a room of like 100 people. Somebody just kept trying to just debunk whatever point I was trying to convey and encourage others to say. And it got heated in the room and people started feeling a little uncomfortable. And I remember during that conversation, it had a lot to do with, I see what you're saying. I get your point. And then being able to strictly yet compassionately give feedback within that instance so that other people don't just take it in public too. It's actually really important to show people like, hey, I understand where you were coming from in this position, but this is where I'm coming from in a way to be not combative, but be more understanding so that others in the room, they're going to be taking your example as you're speaking in front of others, right?
And that is very situational.
It is situational. Yeah.
And I do think that there are times when, as a public speaker, if you were speaking and all of a sudden somebody in the crowd becomes, we'll just say, unruly.
Oh, I did this. I actually had someone's back where this happened, and it was for our good friend Jill Lublin.
There are times that you need to acknowledge the person
and
then say, we'll continue when this person leaves the room.
Exactly, because if you're creating an environment for respect, that's important. You're on that stage. You actually have that responsibility to create a safe environment.
Right.
And or you might have a very passionately mama bear protective friend in the audience. Oh, I'd love to. Could we reminisce on this?
Go for
this story? Okay. So I love Jill Lublin. She remembers this. I still have your books, Jill. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll get it to you. Like she gave me a bunch of books in Arizona and they're still at my apartment. So we'll get there. Promise. But essentially she was up on a stage and this one woman, not saying names, it was just being like she was Jill Lublin was keynote speaking and sharing how what she does really helps people, and it helped me very much so. It encouraged me, it empowered me, it got the Stop Asian Hate movement moving.
Right.
She was one of the PR specialists behind that after I gave a speech in Queens. Very incredible person, amazing at what she does. And this woman was just heckling her down. And somebody else decided to join in and heckle down as she's standing on the stage in front of everybody. And I'm sitting there and sudden. I don't know where this heat came from. I wonder. I got the mic and asked a question. I was like, I have to say, I am actually one of Jill's students. She did an incredible job with what she has done. Another thing I have to say, a really good point of PR is you have to be likable.
And then you're staring at the people who were heckling.
And then I continued to praise Jill Lupin for like the value that she provides for others.
Right.
And then also created another safe contingent right afterwards saying, I think we can all learn from you. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you so much for being on the stage to provide all this information for us. Gave back the mic, smiled. Something told me about 10 of the people in that room really wanted somebody to do that for like 20 years to these two people. And it's not in a disrespectful way. It's
Right.
like, no, you're towing a really strong line here. And I think it's really important that you see where you're coming from too. And it's a good reflection for people. If you're able to do that in a way where, don't get me wrong, you don't want to get killed for being somebody who's prominent. But to defend somebody's respect, I believe standing up for that in any way, shape, or form is important, wherever you are.
One thing to be mindful of is that as we are defending other people's respect, we also do it respectfully.
I thought I did.
Yes, that in what you described very much sounded so. And it's one of those lessons that, we learn. And then as we are speaking in front of groups, the people who are watching us speak, they learn by our example.
Exactly. You are allowed to be feisty as long as it creates value.
Yes, you could be feisty and sassy and sarcastic as long as it's respectful and it's all in the tone of fun. It's
Agreed.
not meant to go down against anyone.
No, not at all. It was funny because I remember I actually got that from a good friend of mine who really encouraged me because I was like in a really difficult position at one point where I felt like I was being criticized in a way that was just almost bullying.
Mhm.
And then I was being gaslit on top of that. And then you're like put in this weird position, right? So I felt like I couldn't have my voice and I couldn't do what I needed to do. And this woman just pointed it right at me and she was like, "You're feisty." And I went, I'm what? She's like, "Just create value with that." And I went,
Yeah.
And that's the product of my value, creating value there, being a advocate for others.
And it's fun finding, and I'm doing it again with the and. It's fun
I like
finding.
it.
It's fun finding the fun in what it is that we do. And sharing that, and if nothing else, making people smile. And every day. And for some, I will say, for some of the responses that I've seen to some of the shorts that we have put out there, thank you. Because I look at them and I'm like, no one's going to get our sense of humor. And then people are like giving us thumbs up and hearts and everything. And it just means the world to me. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. The feedback on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, we really appreciate it. And like, I've been getting DMs about, "Oh, this is good stuff," and I went, "Yeah,
thank you,
thank you. That's encouraging."
And on that note, we do have to wrap up this recording on this one.
Yes, express yourself creatively and be feisty with it. Have fun. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that the discussion today will inspire you to take positive action in your life. Until next week, be empowered.